Brahma Gururvishnu Gururdevo Maheshwara Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Chinmayam Vyapyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Bandhu Cha Sakha Tvameva Vedya Dravidam Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we're almost at the end, and we're in the section of final advice from the Guru. So will you help us out? What verse are we on?
545.
That's what I think he said. 545.
Yes, 545.
Api kurvana kurvana cha bhokta phala bhogyapi shariryapya shariryesha parichannopi swargaha. Though acting, he is inactive. Though he experiences the fruits of past actions, he is untouched by them. Though he has a body, he is not identified with it, and though limited, he is omnipresent.
Yes. So what is the mark of the person of steady wisdom? The Jivan Mukta, the Sthita Prajna Purusha, the Jnani, the Muni. They are identified as the self. So important. I was talking with a student today. The Buddhists talk about this a little bit more than we Vedantins do. In Buddhism, there is a condition called enlightenment sickness or second mind. Have the Goenka people talked about that at all? No. What it means is you're so overwhelmed by this. Your mind is gone. The individuality is gone. This is so glorious. And then the mind reforms with the idea, I know something special. I know something significant. And then we ask the question, who is it who thinks they know this? Not the self. And I have heard said that it took the Buddha 20 years to burn that thought out.
Mhm.
Yeah, it can be incredibly persistent. So do not try to be an enlightened person. Only two kinds of people in the world: those who think they're a person, and they are all fools, and those who know I am Brahman. Now, if you stay identified as Brahman, then you don't have to be concerned about how shiny your effing halo is. You are no longer concerned, oh, did I get triggered? Did I not get triggered? I'm supposed to, am I there yet? Sure, none of you have had thoughts like this. All of it stems from second mind. I know something special. So I have a dear friend in the program. Actually, I haven't spoken with her in decades. And she's always had a difficult time, and she's plagued with jealousy and all this sort of stuff. And finally, another friend of mine said to her ex, I won't mention her name, what is it that you want? And she says, I want to be like the saints. I want to be like the saints. Oh, what a burden. Oh. So what Shankara is saying is that's nonsense. Who is it who wants that? That's the ego. Cast it far away. Be Brahman. Know you are Brahman. And have no particular concern for this body, mind, intellect. Let it fulfill its destiny in the world, its prarabdha. If you want to meditate, meditate. If you don't want to meditate, there's nothing to be gained for the jnani by practicing. Unless you're attached to, I want a wackadoodle mind state. We get so tuned up here in class. It's a mind state. Think, it has a beginning and an end. You leave it here when you go. That's not it. You are a permanent, changeless reality. Give up struggle. Give up trying to get somewhere or get something or have an experience. Now listen carefully. The seeker does spiritual practices so she can purify her mind and realize the self. The woman of steady wisdom may be seen to be doing practices. She may enjoy meditation. We have stories of so and so came and met the sage such and such who was in Padmasana, absorbed deep in samadhi. You hear this in all the stories. Why is the sage in samadhi? What do they have to get out of it? They enjoy it. Or you may enjoy singing the Lord's praises. Tejamayananda, there he is with this little harmonium, singing away, singing away. That's what gets him high. It's his highest form of worldly pleasure, reveling in the halls of Vedanta, singing the Lord's glories, or not. It doesn't matter. Now, there's a very subtle thing here. If your prarabdha is to not be engaged a lot in the spiritual world, and you go out into the world and you are not meditating and reading a little bit of scripture and stuff like that, you probably won't lose your knowledge. You'll always know that you're the self. But you may find, I'm just not blissful like I used to be. My mind's, it's just kind of, do some spiritual practices and see what happens. You may enjoy it, but it will not add to your knowledge. There are several of you who are rooted pretty well. Go off on a 10-day meditation retreat, you come back, and what does Jim do to jerk your chain? Do you know any more self? No. Is your mind quieter? Did you have some experiences? Yeah. Don't worry, they will pass. As mind states always do. And Gita says this. You can just pass right by it and don't see the deep significance for an advanced student. He says, "O Arjuna, be you always vigunair. Be you always beyond the gunas." That's your knowledge. I am ever unattached. I'm ever the witness of all particular mind states. Then he says, and ever remain in the sattvic state. Well, make up your mind. Sattva was one of the gunas. Am I beyond the gunas or I'm in sattva? Yes. If you want to be happy, cultivate sattva. And there are no rules. In Shankara's time, they say you can hang out with criminals, you can go to the sleaze bars, you can even spend time with chandalas, outcasts. No rules. Wherever your prarabdha leads you, but the mark of the woman or the man of steady wisdom is kartavya, is gone. What do we mean by kartavya? Obligatory actions. This deeply rooted feeling, I'm discontent and I need more, better, different cash and prizes in order to be better, to be okay. What? Happiness. Give up sadhana, give up struggle, give up the kartavya. And again, along this line, there's this wonderful little skinny book called The Spiritual Teachings of Ramana Maharshi. It's one of my favorites. And in that book, one of Bhagwan's disciples says, to which of the stages of knowledge does the jnani belong? And it's a reference to the 7 stages of knowledge that we're going to find in Yoga Vasishta. And Bhagawan's answer is very interesting. He says, to the 4th stage. Very clearly says, realization of the self. And then the disciple says, then why have 3 more stages superior to it than extolled by the scripture? And Bhagawan says, these are not states of bondage and release. They have to do with the experiences of the realized person. Listen carefully. He says they are not to be acquired by will or effort. They are karmic. And in fact, if you're struggling to get some wackadoodle post-enlightenment mind state, you're not even a woman or a man of knowledge yet, because you're making obligatory efforts. I have to have the samadhi. I've got to have it. I've got to have it. That's just another torture. It's just another torture. Now, if you find you can't help yourself, you just find yourself in love in your quiet time, deep in meditation, the mind being poured into Brahman. Ah, great punya. Lucky person. This is a very important the mark of the jnani is they've given up struggle. They're at peace. Make peace the goal, not getting high. Any thoughts on this? Next verse.
Ashariram sada santam imam brahma vidam kvachit priya priyena sprishasta priya priyena sprishatta tathaiva cha shubhashubhe. This knower of Brahman lives without the body idea, and neither pleasure nor pain, neither good nor evil ever touch him.
And it's pleasure and suffering. Is it sukham dukham?
Priya apriya.
Priya apriya. What is dear and what is not dear. Okay, read it again, please. I got stuck on that. In English.
Then this knower of Brahman lives without the body idea, and neither pleasure nor pain, neither good nor evil ever touch him.
So nothing touches me. It does not mean that good and evil do not happen. Does not mean that the surface part of the mind might get annoyed or angry, that you enjoy chocolate or falafel. No grasping, no attachment. With this deep and profound internal sannyas comes a deep peace. The mind's ability to revel Next one.
स्थूला दिसम्बन्धवतोऽभिमानिना सुखं च दुःखं च शुभाशुभे च विध्वस्तबन्धस्य सदात्मनो मुने कुतः शुभं व्याप्य शुभं फलं वा. Only he who has connections with the gross body and so on is identified with them, is affected by happiness and sorrow, good and evil. How can any good or evil or their effects affect the sage who has severed his bondage and is identified with reality?
So the root attachment is always dehovasana. Attachment, identification with the body. Over and over again. You are not the body, you are the knower of the body. We've been through the process of seeing the deep, deep connection between kama and dukkha. Kama, craving, attachment, aversion, and suffering. They are the same thing. So the person of steady wisdom, whether they work in the world or not, inside is a sannyasi, a mature renunciate. No longer tyrannized by the likes and dislikes that arise in the mind. Which gives this one access to a deep peace, deep acceptance. Does that mean I have to leave the world? No, there's nothing wrong with the world. The world is not bad. The world is void. It's neutral. Oh, I'm so attached to the speed of light. That makes no sense. Just is. I tell you, every name and form just is. I superimpose my likes and my dislikes. That's my sankalpa, my imagination. Stop it. See what the problem is. See what the problem is. Let it go. And do as you will in the world. And enjoy. The fool dances with an object. When desire and object of desire become one, ooh, that was a great widget, give me more widgets. The jnani dances with the objects, and when desire and object of desire become one, that really stopped my mind. Krishna, Krishna. Own your ananda. It's your swarup, it's your self nature. Next verse.
Tamasa grasta tamasa grastavad bhanat grastopi ravijarnaihi Grasta ityuchyate bhrantya hyagnyatva vastu lakshanam. The sun which appears to be swallowed by Rahu is not actually so. People who know not the real nature of the sun in their delusion say that it has been swallowed.
So this is a reference to a solar eclipse. So Rahu and Ketu are the lunar nodes. They're a big part of Indian astrology. But Rahu is also thought of as a demon. So the idea is that when the solar eclipse happened, the demon Rahu ate the sun. You could see Rahu literally take bites out of it. Rahu's eating the sun. Well, the good news is Rahu has a head but no body. So after Rahu has swallowed the sun, it just goes right out the other side. That's the mythology. The truth is nothing happens to the sun. So it seems like I am having a bad day. I am afflicted by this and that. I'm being roasted in the infernal fires of change, as Ashisha said in the beginning. I am tortured within and without. It's all illusion. It's all rooted in the belief that I am a person. I'm the body. That's what needs to be renounced. Knowing nothing ever touches me. Don't believe me. Don't believe Shankara. Look. Next verse.
Tadvad dehadibandhobhyo vimuktam brahma vittamam pashyanti dehivan mudha sharira bhasa darshanat. So too, the perfect knower of Brahman, liberated from the bondages of his body and so on, is looked upon by foolish people as possessing a body, but they see an appearance of it. They but see an appearance of it.
Yes. So people look at the Mahatma and, oh, Swamiji is suffering. Oh, Swamiji is angry. Oh, I'm so worried about Swamiji. Or when he left the body, oh, Swamiji died. Swamiji went nowhere. And you go nowhere. Just the movie keeps changing. So, don't worry. Any thoughts? Any questions? Next verse.
Ahi nirlavya nivayam muktadehastu tishtati itastatashchal yamano yatkinchit pranavayuna. The body of the liberated man remains like the slough of the snake. Here and there, it is moved about by the force of prana the way it pleases.
So I think in American English we call it the slough.
This love.
Yeah, sloughing. Swamiji used to say sloughing. But what he means is the snake skin. So if you're out in nature and the snake has molted and shed its skin and gone on, you see the empty skin that looks like the snake. But if the wind catches it and it moves, there's the snake. No. So also the body, mind, intellect, the physical body, the subtle body of the jnani is dead. No more desire, no more agenda, no more projects. What makes the sloughed off skin of the body, mind, intellect move in the world? The force of the past, desires of other people. That's the wind. But she gains nothing. Any thoughts? Next verse.
Srutasa niyate daru yatha nimno natat yatha nimno nat tashthalam Daivaina niyate deho yatha kalopa bhuktishu. Just as a piece of wood is carried by the current to a high ground or low ground, so too his body is carried by the momentum of its past actions to their fruits as and when they appear.
So if you put a log in the river, where's it going to end up as it flows down the stream? High ground, low ground, which bank, island will it be against? So also for the jnani, they have no idea and no concern for where the body goes, what it does, who it talks to, how it responds. I had a friend, I won't mention his name. I just found him fascinating. He talked about having a business plan for life. You know, he was no kid. When I met him, I think he was probably in his 60s. But he says, you know, at this age, I want to have this. And by this age, I want to have that. And by this age, I want to accomplish this. And yeah, you know, just these milestones, accomplishment, 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 accomplishment. And he says, well, what's your plan for life, Jim? None. My metaphor is not a business plan. You know, when I was young, I used to play pinball in the bars. Do they have pinball machines in bars anymore?
They do. Some bars do.
Yeah. But you know, with the paddles. Yeah. So you put your money in and the ball bearing drops. I'm the ball bearing in God's pinball machine. And God goes, whack with the paddles. And God goes, whack again. Whack. Ball bearing isn't deciding to go here and there. And then what happens at one point?
Down the tubes.
the clear understanding. It's all okay. Even what may look to the world as catastrophe, physical disabilities, financial crises, loss of jobs or homes or relationships. All just the force of the past and the desires of other people.
I'm not exactly clear when you say the desires of other people.
I do not desire or choose to meet with you on Wednesdays. You have nothing I want. But I love you.
Mhm.
Why do we meet on Wednesdays?
Because I want to. Yeah.
And it's your desire, and I'm happy to pour out the knowledge. It's my joy.
Got it.
People ask, I say yes. Person of steady wisdom basically just says yes to life. It's quite entertaining. And it can really be disquieting for people whose relationships are transactional. They'll flatter you, they'll give you ego strokes, blah, 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 thinking if I do this, then I'll get that back.
Mm.
It was amazing to watch Swamiji. He just could not be manipulated. Or people, I'm going to give thousands of dollars. Now pay attention to me. I want a personal guru. Follow me around. Nonsense. That doesn't mean the guru doesn't serve. The guru has nothing else to do but serve. Does that make it a little clear?
No, absolutely.
Anybody else have questions about that? Next verse.
Prarabdha karma parikalpit vasana sansari vacharati muktishu muktadeha siddha swayam vasati sakshi vadatra tushnim chakrasya moolamil kalpa vikalpa shunyaha. Through the desires produced by prarabdha karma, the man of perfection, bereft of the body idea, moves in the midst of sense enjoyments like the one subject to transmigration. He, however, lives unmoved in the body like a witness free from mental agitations, like the pivot of a potter's wheel.
So this used to really confuse me. Swamiji would say, I have no desires. But it was very clear. He enjoyed fast cars. He enjoyed spicy food. He enjoyed listening to young people, especially, make music and sing and dance and stuff like that. When people were stupid and jerks, he would get angry. So it was very clear there was part of a mind that was responding and reacting to the world. But if you tuned up to it, it was almost like a puppet acting in the world. He was just so empty. Now, this is not a rationalization for bad behavior. All I'm going to say on that. And say, oh, I'm a Johnny, I can do whatever I want. No, don't be an asshole. And don't have a lot of concern with the stupid. Not real. Which is more real, a goody-goody thought or a vicious thought? Does the self act virtuously or badly? Self does not act. It's all active. So the phrase I like to use is the person of knowledge is out of control. And I mean that very literally. So when we see a person, a jnani, frequently one of the things that attracts us is this incredible sense of naturalness, of authenticity. There's no pretense. Sometimes they're very still, like a dog, or like a large snake after it's eaten. Sometimes they're acting like a demon. It's all force of the past and the desires of other people. A person of steady wisdom has no involvement. Next verse.
Naivedriyani Vishayesh. No, sorry. Naivendriyani Vishayeshu Niyuntyakta Esha Naiva Panyukta Upadarshana Lakshanastha Naiva Kriya Phalam Pisha Devekshate Sa Swananda Sanandra Rasapana Sumapattichittaha. He does not direct the sense organs to their objects, nor does he detach them from these, but he remains like an indifferent onlooker. His mind being drunk with wine of bliss of the self, he holds not the least regard for the fruits of action.
Yes. Will the person of steady wisdom make mistakes? One of the things you hear in the traditions, that the actions of the Mahatma are perfect. I have news for you. So are yours. Everyone is doing just what the Lord has directed them to do, whether they realize it or not. The county just knows that. The only difference. Donald Trump is being the perfect Donald Trump, which is exactly what's supposed to be happening right now. You know how I know that? Because it's happening. Yeah. and the jnani ever easily able to just merge the mind into the sound. Taste the bliss, one's own self-nature. Next verse.
लक्ष्या लक्ष्य गतिं त्यक्त्वा यस्थे केवलात्मना शिव एव स्वयं साक्षात् अयं ब्रह्म विदुत्तमः. He who has renounced the anxiety to reach the goal and never to deviate from it and lives as the absolute Atman. Indeed, he is Shiva himself, the best among the knowers of Brahman.
Oh, this is good. So let's parse this one. Read the first part again.
She who has renounced the anxiety to reach the goal.
Yes. So you've given up the mumukshu, seeker after liberation. The ego cannot conceive of what the liberated mind is like. So it will posit, I, Jim, am going to get to this place. There's the self, I am walking toward it. Yeah, I got it. But that's not what happens. We keep renouncing and renouncing. Are you enlightened? I quit asking the question. Now, if you ask me, do I know my essential nature? Oh, no doubts at all. Yeah, but your mind doesn't seem. Ask me if I care. I saw you reacting. Thank you. I saw it too. And the paradox. Swamiji used to say the way to heal the mind is to get out of the mind. Mind does change, but not from fixing it. I share with you one of my favorite prayers. Oops. Next verse.
जीवनैव सदा मुक्त कृतार्थो ब्रह्मवित्तमः उपाधि नाश ब्रह्मैव सन्ब्रह्मप्येति निर्द्वयम्. The perfect knower of Brahman becomes eternally free, even in this life, and is fulfilled. He merges with the non-dual Brahman, which he had been all along, through the destruction of his limitations.
So you don't really merge with it. You realize you've always been in it. And this work is not about, okay, I'm going to do all these rituals, and if I do enough, yajna and puja and tirtha and all that stuff. I'll go to Brahma Loka. And then at the end of the age, I'll be liberated. I'm going to go for Videha Moksha because I want to have a good time here. Doesn't work that way. Shankara says, in this very lifetime, right here, right now, gain the freedom that knowledge of the self bestows. Who's to say the Lord may have great things in store for your piece of equipment? Maybe you'll invent something new or run for office or just take care of your spouse. Help poor people. Maybe given you to teach. Listen carefully. Being a guru is just another effing job. It's a good one. Students create the glue. You don't hold, put out a shingle. It doesn't work that way. Be happy. Enjoy the incredible intensity. Next verse.
Shailusho Veshasadbhavar Bhavayoshcha Yathapuman Tathaiva Brahmavit Shrestha Sada Brahmaiva Naparaha. Just as an actor, whether he wears the dress of his role or not, is always a man, so too the perfect knower of Brahman is always Brahman and nothing else.
Yes. So I was watching a video about the great American opera singer Marilyn Horne when she was paying her dues in Germany. So one night of the week she's singing Me, and then the next night of the week she's singing another role, and the third night of the week she's singing another role, and then on Sunday she had to do 2 performances, and each one of these different ones was a different role. She was the house singer for this particular voice type, but she was always just Jackie Horne. She put on different face, sang different notes. She had a different score to sing. But at the end of the opera, she comes home, takes off her makeup and costume. She's Jackie Horne. So you are always Brahman. Wearing the costume of this particular body. Mouthing the words of the script of the force of your past. That's all it is. Say your lines convincingly. And what you do may change through your life. Mike and I are old enough. How many different professions and stuff have you been through this lifetime?
Oh. I mean, major ones, even though there's,
Yeah.
within those, there's little diversions, 4 or 5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like complete incarnations, aren't they?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You look back and God, did I do that?
Right.
Who
It's like-
was that?
And I'm like, that's all I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. No.
But you are the same. Yesterday, today, and forever. All the changes is the costume and the script. Do it well. Next one.
यत्र क्वापि विशीर्णं सत् पर्णम् इव तरोप्वपुपतात् ब्रह्मीभूतस्य यतेत् प्रागेव तच्चिद्विघ्नदग्धमा. The body of a sannyasin who has realized Brahman may wither and fall anywhere like the leaf of a tree. It matters not, for it has already been burnt in the fire of knowledge.
So this can be looked at in a couple ways. If you take formal sannyas and are given diksha by another sannyasi, the rite is actually a funerary rite. They make a little rice doll. That's you. Then they cremate. Then you go into the water and you're stark naked. You come out and you head north towards Mount Kailash. And the Guru said, come here, tell you have a new name. On and on and on. And here are your clothes. You're dead to your former life. But for the jnani, the woman or the man of steady wisdom, they have already been cremated in the fire of knowledge. Nothing left to do, nothing to accomplish. The body just keeps acting, fulfilling its role, in the end dictated by the Lord. Next verse.
सदात्मनि ब्रह्मणि तिष्ठतो मुने पूर्णाद्वयानन्दमयात्मना सदा न देशकालाद्युचितप्रतीक्षा त्वन्मासविट्पिण्डविसर्जनाय. The sage who is firmly established in the eternal reality, Brahman, as infinite non-dual bliss, depends not on the usual consideration of place, time, and so on for giving up this bundle of skin, flesh, and filth.
Yes, so the idea here is for Orthodox Hindus, it's important to die at a particular time of the year, the first 6 months. Ideally, you die on the banks of a sacred river. Many people, when they're at the last stages, will visit Varanasi or Rishikesh or Haridwar so they can be cremated on the banks of the holy rivers. Here, Shankara says, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where you die. In the end, listen carefully. Funerals are for the living, not the dead. Oh, we need to do these rituals for Aunt so-and-so, for her soul. Nonsense. The set of her soul is determined by the force of her past. We do rituals for the living. It's to comfort the people who are left behind. Everybody clear on that? Even in Hinduism, what do they call it? The pinda, the rice balls. What's the ritual behind that?
I think it's like some ancestor sort of thing.
Did your family do that particular observance?
Yeah, they do.
Tell us what the ritual is.
I don't know though. My dad does it because it's generally the males of the family that do the rituals.
And what just overall, what happens?
I mean, every year there's a certain date at which you honor the souls of the people, or like I guess honor the people who have passed. So there's a date for my grandfather, grandmother, and my dad will do some sort of a puja, do some donations, call a priest. And yeah, I think it's also like
and you feed
paying
the
for
soul
lunch.
of the dead with the
Yes.
pinda. Yeah. And this is supposed to help them. It's nonsense. We do these rituals for our comfort. They're in God's hands at that point. And it's no different in the Catholic Church. Oh, and we're going to have a mass for grandma. She's been dead 10 years, but we'll have a mass for her. You done that as a Catholic?
Mhm.
Yeah. Grandma doesn't care. She
Actually, I can say I've never paid any mass for anybody because I kind of realized I wasn't doing anything.
Well, people pay for the mass for grandma so that their neighbors know that they're devout.
Yeah. My Southern Baptist roots would not allow it.
All right, next verse.
Dehasya moksho na moksho narandasya kamandaloho avidya hridaya granthi moksho moksho yatastataha. For giving up the body or the staff of for giving up the body or the staff or the water bowl is not liberation. Liberation is the asundering of the heart's knots, which are constituted of ignorance.
So the staff, the dundee that some swamis have, the begging bowl, these are all symbols. Giving up these things is not liberation. Liberation is to renounce the mind. How do I renounce the mind? I know that I can't think a real thought. I know that no personal thought of self is real. I know that this world is mithya, an illusion. Brahma Satya, Jagan Mithya, Shankar said earlier. In the end, there is no difference between Jivan Mukta and Videha Mukta. Being liberated while in the body, being liberated beyond the body. Because the Jivan Mukta is beyond the body, even though the body's running around. There's no concern. Next verse.
Kulya yamatanadyam va shiva kshetreti chatvare parnam patati chattena taro kimno shubhashubham. If a leaf falls in a stream or a river, in a place consecrated to Shiva or at a crossroad, what good or evil will it bestow upon the tree?
Yes. So the tree is a living thing. Then the leaf falls and gets blown away by the wind. What does the tree care? Or to move it into a modern image, I say when you die, it's going to be like getting a haircut. Right now, yeah, kind of attached. I can feel my hair. But you go to the beauty salon or the barber shop and snip, 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 snip. Where is the locus of identity? Are you on the floor of the beauty shop or barber shop going, oh, I've been cut off? No. You look down. My God, my hair's gone white. They put it into the trash. You pay your money and you walk out. Next verse.
पत्रस्य पुष्पस्य फलस्य नाशवत् देहेन्द्रियप्राणधियां विनाशः नैवात्मनः स्वयस्य सदात्मकस्य नन्दाकृतेर्वीक्ष वदस्ति चैषः. Like the destruction of a leaf, flower, or fruit to a tree is the destruction of the body, sense organs, pranas, and intellect, the Atman, the eternal reality, is never affected. It is the embodiment of bliss which is one's real nature and exists like the tree.
Yes. And even before death takes the body, whatever happens to the body or to your circumstances, none of it touches you. Chidananda Rupam, Shivoham Shivo. My form, this consciousness, Shivoham Shivoham. I am Shiva. I am auspicious. Okay, it's a good place to stop. How many more verses do we have?
For 19 more.
And how many did we do tonight?
What was it? 544? 545?
Yeah.
So we are at 562. So that's about 17. 18.
Okay, we may finish next week or maybe one more week. That's hard to tell. All right. And again, the next class will be the essence of Yoga Vasishtha, and it will start October 17th. I want to make sure we have enough time to plan for it and announce it and invite people to come. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om.